So Jordan had no bag?
I didn't say no bag. I just don't think
Kobe
he
and Jordan aren't bag guys.
1-2 dribble pull-ups.
Kobe had a
No
bag.
bag.
Kobe.
So the other day, P, we want to pull some quotes from you, and your quote was that you thought Michael Jordan had a very limited bag. I would like you to expand on that.
Michael Jordan's name just got thrown into a full-on basketball war, and NBA legends weren't about to let that slide. What started as a harmless podcast chat turned into one of the wildest and most disrespectful debates the sport has seen in years. The idea that the greatest scorer in NBA history had a limited bag? Come on. Fans went crazy, clips started blowing up online, and soon the very players who actually had to guard Jordan in real life had to step in and shut this talk down fast. It all kicked off on the No Fouls Given podcast when Paul Pierce dropped a take that sent the entire basketball world into chaos. Kevin Garnett had to jump in because Pierce's comments weren't just controversial. They were straight up disrespectful. Then Danny Green decided to pile on, claiming that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has more of a bag than Jordan. The internet went wild, and every corner of social media lit up with heated debates, memes, and highlight edits trying to prove the point. Apparently, in today's era, if you're not dribbling the ball 20 times and spinning in circles before taking a shot, people think your offensive game is weak. But here's where things got real. NBA legends who actually played against Jordan had something to say about all this nonsense. Gilbert Arenas came through with maybe the most honest take of them all, dropping truth bombs that hit home. He understood something that a lot of younger fans just don't want to accept.
Yeah, I would say I agree that he has a deeper bag. One, yes, if the less athleticism you have, the more things you need to add to do the same thing as someone who's very athletic. MJ's bag came in a whole different form, right? And when we talk about bags, we only think dribbling moves. Who has the best dribbling moves, right? That's how we consider a bag. Now, if you look at Jordan's bag to score, it was very elite. Because you're talking about back to basket, up and under, foot, fade, swing, aerial stuff. That's a bag.
Arenas took to social media and made it clear as day. Michael Jordan was so dominant he could walk into the arena with only 2 moves and still give everybody 40 points. That's not hype. That's history. Modern fans keep mixing up flashy with effective, and it's gotten out of hand. The game evolves, sure, but greatness never goes out of style. Jordan didn't need 30 dribbles to prove a point because he was mentally and physically on another level. Somewhere along the line, basketball fans started confusing entertainment with execution. They really think that bouncing the ball 50 times before shooting makes you better than someone who can get to their spot, rise up, and bury the shot clean. Gilbert nailed it. Being the GOAT doesn't require 1,000 fancy combos. It's about putting the ball in the basket when everyone in the arena knows you're the one taking the shot, and still can't stop you. Let's look at the facts. Jordan averaged 30.1 points per game for his career, the highest in NBA history. Not second, not close. Number 1, he won 10 scoring titles, more than anyone ever, with Wilt Chamberlain sitting in second place with 7. 7 of Jordan's titles came back to back to back, pure domination year after year. And when the lights were brightest, his scoring went up, 33.4 points per game in the playoffs, the most ever. 6 finals appearances, 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, a perfect record, all while shooting nearly 50% from the field for his entire career, 49.7% to be exact. That's elite efficiency on massive volume against defenses that spent all night trying to stop him. These aren't just stats, they're proof that calling Jordan's game limited is laughable. Even Richard Jefferson, who actually played in the modern era, had to jump in on the Road Trippin' podcast to defend Jordan's basketball IQ.
As basketball players get smarter, they become more efficient. That's really what it is. Allen Iverson used to be at the top of the key doing all of this. That's what he did when he first came into the league. Then he learned, then the Iverson cut came, and they basically ran him across the middle, and they go, either go or stop. So he didn't have to do all the dancing anymore, became more efficient. MJ, you go back and watch MJ, there's the famous clip of him going between his legs and stopping and dropping when he was doing 61 in the Garden, or 61 against the Boston Celtics. Y'all seen the video where he's doing this back in '85 and stopping, wopping. He realized he didn't have to burn that much energy.
He made it clear that Jordan's game wasn't about flash. It was about control, dominance, and results. Legends recognized legends, and the real ones know. When it came to Michael Jordan, nobody had more in their bag. They just didn't realize it until he dropped 40 on them. That's the real line between legends and players who just look good in Instagram clips. Jordan had every fancy move in the book. He could cross, spin, fade, and dunk with the best of them. But he was smart enough to realize that the most effective way to score wasn't always the flashiest. Jefferson understood that perfectly. Efficiency isn't a weakness, it's mastery. That's the difference between highlight players and true killers on the court. And here's another fact that completely shuts down the limited bag nonsense. Shaquille O'Neal. The man racked up 28,596 career points, sitting 9th all time. Most of those buckets came from dunks, drop steps, and pure brute power. He shot an absurd 58.2% from the field, the second highest mark in NBA history. 2 scoring titles and 10 field goal percentage crowns built his resume. And guess what? Nobody ever dared to say Shaq didn't have a bag. Why? Because having a bag isn't about how many times you dribble between your legs. It's about having weapons that work every single night. Shaq's foundation was raw dominance. That monster drop step, the nasty jump hook, and later in his career, that smooth turnaround fadeaway he added to keep defenders guessing. Those were his tools, his bag. And if Shaq's power game counts, then Jordan's surgical precision absolutely does. The whole bag conversation falls apart the moment you remember basketball is about results, not choreography. Now let's break down what people love to call limited about Michael Jordan's offensive arsenal. Let's start with the move, the fadeaway. Jordan picked it up from 12-time All-Star Elvin Hayes, but once he mastered it, it became one of the deadliest shots the league had ever seen. Over the right shoulder, over the left, didn't matter. He'd bump you off balance with his strength, rise up smooth, and let that jumper fly. The result? 82% on fadeaways during his final 2 seasons with the Wizards, at 38 and 39 years old. 82%. That's not just skill, that's control on another level. Then you've got the mid-range game, that pull-up jumper off 1 or 2 dribbles that Paul Pierce tried to mock. That shot was the most efficient weapon in basketball when Jordan used it. Why? Because he got to his spot faster than anyone could react. No wasted time, no wasted energy, just straight buckets. And don't forget the post game. After coming back from baseball, Jordan completely retooled his approach. He hit the weights hard, bulked up to 215 pounds, and became an absolute menace on the block. His footwork was so clean, his fakes so deadly, that defenders had no clue where he was going next. That transformation added an entirely new layer to his offense, one that made him unstoppable in isolation. At age 40, Jordan became the only player in NBA history to average more than 20 points per game at that age. The only one. That's not just longevity. That's greatness refusing to fade away. And about that three-point talk, sure, Jordan wasn't a volume shooter from deep, but when he wanted to prove a point, he did. He hit 42.7% from 3 during one season and dropped 6 threes in a single half during the legendary Shrug game, setting a finals record at the time. He could shoot. He just didn't need to rely on it. Every single move was already in his bag. He just didn't waste energy trying to look flashy when he could get easy points with surgical precision. That's what modern players and fans keep missing when they talk about having a bag. They're playing in an era where defenders can't even touch you. Back in Jordan's day, hand checking was legal. Defenders could literally put a hand on your hip, guide you, shove you, and control your direction above the free throw line. And Jordan still dominated. The league didn't fully ban hand checking until the mid-2000s, and the difference was instant. League scoring jumped from 93.4 points per game to 97.2 overnight. As Kenny Smith said it best, Jordan was getting buckets in an era where defenders could grab you, hold you, and still couldn't stop you. That's not a limited bag, that's an unstoppable one. The hand check rule, that single change, completely separates eras. And that's exactly why so many players from back then would absolutely dominate today. Back in Jordan's time, guards didn't need flashy 20-dribble routines to create space. They had to fight for every inch. Modern players use all those fancy dribble packages because they're trying to beat zone defenses without ever being touched. Jordan, meanwhile, was getting buckets with a defender's hand literally on his hip, guiding him the whole way, and still cooking them. He was dropping 30 a night while taking physical punishment that would get players ejected in today's league. Jordan wasn't just playing basketball, he was surviving a battlefield every night. The elbows, the grabs, the hard fouls, that was just part of the game. And through all that, he still averaged over 30 points per game for his career. That's not just skill, that's durability, dominance, and pure willpower. When the internet started roasting Paul Pierce for his wild take, he tried to walk it back. He jumped on the Ticket and the Truth podcast with Kevin Garnett to clean things up.
Who got a bag in the league? You instantly go to like Kyrie, James Harden, but these is guys who need multiple moves to get cracking. Like Jordan didn't need multiple moves. He just right by you. One dribble pull up, fade away. You know, for that era, that was great.
But even then, his clarification completely missed the point. He was still missing the real truth that every legend already knows. Because even with today's soft fouls, freedom of movement, and rules that practically beg offensive players to score, none of these so-called deep bag players are averaging 30 points per game for their entire career. Not one. None of them have 10 scoring titles. None of them have 33.4 points per game in the playoffs. Take Kyrie Irving, one of the craftiest, most skilled players we've ever seen. His career average, 24.7 points per game. James Harden, who Chandler Parsons swore had a deeper bag than Jordan, racked up 28,000 career points over a longer run, but never won a championship as the #1 guy. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who Danny Green said had more of a bag than MJ, is having an amazing season. But one great year doesn't erase what Jordan did for 15 straight seasons. The truth is, the word bag has become one of the most overused, misunderstood terms in basketball. It was supposed to mean your skill set, your offensive arsenal, but now it's basically code for how many unnecessary dribbles can you do before taking a shot. It's turned into a highlight term, not a basketball term. Even LeBron James had to step in earlier this year to address this nonsense.
Michael Jordan wasn't out there dribbling 1,000 times, to get to the spot. He'd get to a spot and raise. I see it all the time. It's like, I'll be on social media, like LeBron has no bag. It's like, I'm sitting over here.
What is that?
LeBron has no bag, and I'm sitting like at 50 billion points.
Right.
The real hoopers, the ones who understand the game, know that efficiency will always matter more than flash. You can look cool all you want, but if you're not putting points on the board, it means nothing. Getting buckets matters more than looking like you can. When Larry Bird watched Jordan drop 63 points on the Celtics in the playoffs, his reaction wasn't, "Yeah, but his bag's limited." "No," Bird said, "that was God disguised as Michael Jordan." And when Magic Johnson saw MJ take over the league, he didn't talk about crossovers or hesitation dribbles. His words were, "There's Michael Jordan, and then there's the rest of us." That's how legends talk when they witness greatness. They recognize dominance, not decorations. So let's bring this full circle. Paul Pierce said Jordan had a limited bag. Danny Green said Shai had more of a bag. Chandler Parsons said James Harden's bag was deeper than Jordan's. And every single legend who actually played against MJ, who felt his moves, guarded his footwork, and lived through that era, had to step in and set the record straight. Gilbert Arenas summed it up perfectly when he said, Jordan's bag was better than everybody else's bag in his era, and he could walk into any arena with 2 moves and drop 40. That line says it all. You don't need 20 dribbles to be unstoppable. You need precision, timing, and control. Michael Jordan scored 32,292 career points, with the highest scoring average in NBA history. So, the next time someone talks about bags, just remember, Jordan's bag wasn't limited. It was lethal. You can't do any of that without a bag. 10 scoring titles with a so-called limited offensive arsenal, that's not possible. It's legendary. Averaging 33.4 points per game in the playoffs when every single defense is built specifically to stop you. You can't pull that off unless you've got every tool, every counter, every move ready to go. Jordan didn't just have a bag, he had the blueprint. He mastered every angle, every spot on the floor, and every way to destroy his opponent. What made him different wasn't just his skill, it was his intelligence. He knew exactly which move to use, when to use it, and how to make it look effortless. That balance of precision and power, of control and chaos, that's what made Michael Jordan untouchable. Somewhere along the way, people started confusing style for substance. They really think taking 15 dribbles before a jumper looks cooler than getting to your spot in 2 moves and cashing out every time. But the truth doesn't need filters or fancy edits. 6 championships don't lie. A perfect finals record doesn't lie. The numbers, the rings, and the dominance, they all tell the story loud and clear. And the legends who actually stood across from Jordan, who guarded him, got torched by him, and saw that greatness up close. They've said it themselves. Jordan's bag wasn't limited. His opponent's ability to stop him was. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment about your favorite Jordan moment. See you on the next one.